Welcome to the third episode of Teach Your Way, where we discuss matters impacting the education system and do what we do best, talk. Today we have a very special guest with us. Her name is Davia Johnson Newman. She has been an educator for over 15 years and a principal for the past 4 years, a mentor, motivator, and she's quite passionate about education. Welcome to the show, Davia.
Thank you so much for having me, Taj. It's always such a pleasure and a joy whenever I get an opportunity to be in a space where I can talk about the business of education. I'm really passionate about this field, and so it's my delight to be here with you. Let me just give you a little big up on this podcast because I really think this is something that, all teachers need to be a part of. And so I really laud you for the hard work that you have been doing where this is concerned. So keep it up.
Thank you so much, Davia. I really appreciate that. All right, guys, so here today we are going to discuss a very exciting topic: how to retain excellent teachers in your school. So, first of all, you might be wondering, what is teacher retention? What is retention? So retention has to do with keeping. So teacher retention involves all the factors surrounding whether an educator stays in a school, move to a different school, or leave the profession altogether. How do you attract and retain excellent teachers in your institution?
All right, so at our institution, we have a brand, and we pride ourselves as a school of choice as well as a center of excellence. And what better way to promote that brand than through social media? Right. And so we try our best at all times to post what's happening at the institution, because this is going to ultimately attract teachers to the institution. Excellent teachers at that. In terms of retaining our teachers, we try to have our ongoing professional development sessions for our teachers. We also try to have our annual Teacher of the Year competitions. And we also have our psychosocial support WhatsApp group, because we believe in placing a balanced focus on teacher development and teacher welfare. And so our psychosocial support WhatsApp group is primarily managed by our guidance counselor, who sends out weekly affirmation, weekly encouragement to our teachers. And this is something that they find uplifting, especially in this pandemic that, so many things are happening around us. We need that sort of encouragement. We also have our regular staff outings. We do take our teachers out every Teachers Day. We also have our staff socials during December period there. We also even take our teachers on the road during November in celebration of Parent Month. Wow. We also try to highlight the strengths of our teachers, because everybody has strengths and everybody has weaknesses. So we try to highlight the strengths, nurture those strengths, and then we look at the weak areas and we help our teachers to improve on those areas. And we also get the teachers involved in decision making. And this is critical because everybody has a point of view that can help to shape the institution. So those are some of the ways that we attract and retain our teachers.
I really love that. I can recall places that I've worked, being involved in some of those activities also, which really made me like the educator I am today. Just fun and by the spur of the moment, I also enjoyed, my netball team. So big up to my previous co-workers. Yay! How do you foster teacher development in your institution, Davia?
Well, this is critical, because at all times we want to ensure that our teachers are growing, developing, and becoming better at what they do. So in terms of teacher development, we engage our teachers in ongoing developmental sessions, as I have mentioned a little earlier. And these are not just sessions where we invite external presenters to come in, but sessions that we also ask our internal teachers to utilize their expertise to present on areas that they are strong in. So this in turn is helping to build them. And, sometimes when you look at it, a teacher might be there that never knew they had it in them to go and do these presentations. But just by nurturing them in this kind of way can help them to blossom and to shine. So these are some of the ways that we help to foster teacher development. We also encourage them to be a part of professional learning circles where they can share best practices, where they can learn from others from other institutions. And, this ultimately helps them to become better at what they do. So those are some of the ways that we help to nurture their development.
Oh, awesome. I have done my fair share of being drawn out by my boss to do presentations of lessons and so forth, and you really don't know that you have those skills within you until you're called out to do it. I always try to hide behind a mask that I am shy. Trying to
and
Mhm.
and interestingly you say that, because that is what drove me into the field of teaching in the first place. Somebody looking at me and pushing me out of my comfort zone. Because I remember when we were in high school, the prefects were always asked to teach during Teachers' Day.
Yes.
So I remember one year I got dressed as a prefect and I went to school and I taught a grade 9 science class. And at the end of the class, those students asked me if I was coming back the next day. And when I went home, I reflected on that experience, and that is what drove me now to become a teacher, because I said to myself, but if these students are thinking that I did so well that they wanted me to come back the next day, I said to myself, you know what, maybe this is my calling. And that ultimately led me to become a teacher. So sometimes the experiences that we give our teachers, it can bring out the best in them. Who knows, they can even transition to other areas in the field of education, where they're making presentations to bigger groups of people. So this is what we want to do, to build them up as educators.
Very nice. It's training ground within the institution to go out there and catch bigger fish.
That's
And in light of brain drain, there's not much that a single institution can really do to retain someone. However, do you think being, held in the highest regard or treated with the highest regard will allow a teacher to feel loyal to stay at an institution?
Well, the truth is, when I look at the research, because I remember back in 2016, 17, thereabout, when we had quite a number of teachers leaving, especially math and science teachers, I did some research, and majority of the teachers that were leaving because of financial gain, in terms of better wages, better salaries, and so on. When we think about the reality of it, though, a teacher is working, and some of them have the loans to repay, the student loans, the car loans, the mortgages, and at the end of the day, they still want to take care of their families and have something to save towards retirement. And so you really can't blame them when they decide that, you know what, I need to leave so I can be able to accomplish some of these goals that I have. So yes, being loyal can encourage teachers to stay maybe a little longer, but sometimes when they look at their long-term goals, they will ask themselves, can I really, based on what I'm getting now, manage to stay? Yes, some teachers will still leave because they want to get international experience as well,
Right.
But as educators, as administrators, we just have to really nurture our teachers. We just have to encourage them. We just have to shape them. And at the end of the day, if they do leave, at least they're leaving better than they came to the institute.
Wow. Wow. I love that. They're leaving better than they came. And that is very important. That's showing progression and attainment. Woo!
That's right.
I love it. And in recent times, we see the need for adaptability, which is a trait of an excellent teacher. We all know what's happening in the world, COVID and all, mask wearing and all those fancy stuff. How can administrators ensure that teachers have the support that they really need to develop and transcend?
So this is a very critical trait that excellent teachers must possess, and all teachers for that matter. You know, I can remember in March 2020, when we were forced to close our doors to face-to-face teaching and learning, we had to quickly transition to online teaching and learning. And, you know, we didn't have time to learn. We had to quickly adapt and adjust and reshape our thinking. COVID really disrupted some narratives, and our teachers had to be doing novel things they never thought of before. And so it's critical that teachers are able to just quickly adapt. And I know that some persons don't have this skill. And so as educators, as administrators rather, we have to scaffold and mold and guide and mentor our teachers. You know, not just adaptability skill, but also the 21st century skills.
Yes.
We were forced to not just teach these skills now, but apply them. We had to become critical thinkers immediately. We had to start becoming creative. We had to collaborate on a bigger level. And so we saw the 21st century skills coming out as well. And so it's all about mentoring and guiding and coaching. It's all about helping our teachers, holding their hands and helping them to get to that point where we want to get them. So, you know, there are many other ways to foster it, but I think, yeah, that is one of the ways we can do it, through guiding and coaching.
I really love that. And I had my fair share of adapting to different situations. One, moving to a new country and being just pushed into online learning. I'm like, oh my God, I've never used the Zoom before. I've never used Google Classroom before. What do I do? And, you know, for a good while, we had a turnaround in the country where we didn't have to wear masks anymore and we could go to face, and I was so happy. Hallelujah. But then it quickly shifted, and we really had to get into training on how to use the different platforms: Seesaw, Zoom, Google Classroom, Excel, you name it. But what I really love is that you mentioned that administration plays such an important role in adaptability, in that support where you're scaffolding us, you're holding our hands, guiding us through it, not letting us feel like you need to do this and you need to get it right now, you know? So we really could do without that added pressure and have been doing well without that pressure. So I'm so happy that you have mentioned all of these today. Davia, thank you so much for coming on to the show. And guys, I just want to thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like the video, share, subscribe, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from Davia again soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure being here.
Awesome. It was a pleasure having you. You are so pleasant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Share the video, subscribe, and I'll see you again. Bye.